Several times in these pep talks, I have mentioned the personal development chaburas of Rabbi Ari Niven, and I've been participating in Rabbi Niven's chabura or workshop for this past year, and I'm a huge fan. I think that they are incredible, life-transforming. I couldn't recommend them more. So every year in Elul, in preparation for the high holidays, people who are participating in Rabbi Niven's chaburas, we try to identify our yi'ud for that year. Yi'ud means like your personal life purpose, as well as your personal tikkun for that coming year. Tikkun, or like soul correction for that year. So for this year and this last Elul, I sat down and I tried to figure out what was the main thing that I want to work on. And the statement that I came up with for my tikkun for this year is that I want to try and be a 1% better wife, mother, and friend. So what I'm trying to do, what this means to me, is that when my husband, my child, or a friend wants to speak with me, that what I try to do is I try to spend at least 1 minute focusing on them. I stop what I'm doing and I stop rushing wherever I'm going, and I really just try and focus on them. And this doesn't sound so difficult, but for me it is incredibly difficult. So yesterday I was speaking with a friend about this. I was speaking with a friend about the chaburas, and I was explaining about my tikkun for the year. And she asked me what negative trait I'm really trying to work on. And I realized what it is that I'm trying to work on my inability to just really focus and live in the present. I have a tendency to always be like rushing and thinking about what's happening in the future and planning and like preparing and organizing for the future. So for example, my husband wants to speak with me, but I have like one foot out the door because I'm on my way to go shopping. Or my child wants to speak with me, but I'm on my way to pick up the phone because I have to like make an important phone call. Or a neighbor wants to speak with me, or a friend wants to speak with me, but I can't talk with them because I'm always in a rush because I'm late to pick up my child, or I'm rushing somewhere else. I'm always in a rush, and it's incredibly difficult for me to just be where I am. Just like really be with the person that I'm with. There are certain times when I don't have a difficult time focusing on what I'm actually doing right now. Like when I'm making this pep talk, I'm really focusing on what I'm doing right now. Or when I'm writing, I'm really 100% focused on what I'm writing. I'm not focusing on the future or on the past. I'm really right there writing. But with people, with relationships, it's incredibly difficult for me to just really focus on what is happening right there with that person, just really giving them my full attention and not rushing off anywhere. So basically this week, Rabbi Niven was talking about this. He was talking about learning to live in the present. He was talking about, we've been talking for the last few weeks actually, about the issue of people who live in the past. People like if you're always thinking about what happened then, like my mother said this, and my teacher once said that to me, and my husband said that to me, and I said that back to him, and always going over and sort of chewing on issues and things and problems or whatever that came up in the past, and sort of going over and obsessing over them in our minds, okay? Or letting those past experiences sort of shape who we are right now. It's a problem, okay? Or people who are living in the future, people who are always planning for what's about to happen. People who are always, thinking, but I have to get ready, I have to cook this meal, I have to run and pay that bill, I have to go shopping. Always living in the future and not being right where you are right now. So what we've been trying to do this week in the chabura, or in our homework this week for the chabura, is to try and spend at least a few minutes a day living 100% in the present. Not thinking about the past, not thinking about what your husband said to you this morning, what your son said to you this morning, what you said to your boss this morning. No. Focusing on right now and not thinking about the future, like the project that you have to turn in tomorrow, and the bill that you have to pay this afternoon, and that you have to go and pick up your kids on time from nursery school. No. Really just for a few minutes a day, just really focusing on what is here right now. Not the past and not the future, right now. So I wanted to do a little exercise with you. I wanted to just sort of practice this little homework that we're doing in Rabbi Niven's Chabura. Practice it here with you right now. And we're going to I hope that you're sitting comfortably at your computers. And I want all of you to, let's all together, we'll take a deep breath. And not think about the past, not think about the future, just really, for the next few seconds, like let's say 20 seconds, We're going to focus on what is right now. Okay, take a deep breath and go. Okay, so what I think is incredible about this very, very simple exercise is that it's so simple and it's difficult. It's difficult to it's difficult, I find at least, to block out a bit the future, to block out the past, and to just really, really be present with where I am right now. And what I find amazing is that like the world is like a different, all of a sudden I notice like the world is all of a sudden in such bright, vibrant colors. I'm just looking over here at my sofa, at the window, at the picture over there, at my Shabbat candles up there. All of a sudden, like I just see things so clearly and in so much greater detail than I do, because all the time, like my mind is just full of all these voices of what was and what will be, and it's so difficult. It's so difficult to really just focus on what is now. So I'm working on doing that with other people, just trying to really, really focus on, at least for a few minutes a day, on other people, on like the people who are dearest to me, really focusing on them when I'm speaking with them. So Rabbi Niven tells an interesting story about this, about a person who was able to live 100% in the present with other people. He tells a story about many years ago when Rabbi Niven's late father, when he was visiting Israel, and Rabbi Niven and his father, they were walking through Mea Shearim. And they were just walking around, and the father, they clearly looked like they were visitors. They looked like, the father looked like a tourist. And a man came out of his house in Mea Shearim and saw them and said, "Hello, welcome. Are you new here? Have you ever been here before? Well, welcome. Why don't you come into my house? I'd love to host you. I'd love you to come in and have something to eat, and I would love to talk with you." And so they went into this man's house, and this man ended up spending 2 hours talking with them. 2 hours just asking them about their lives, and he was telling them about his life in Mea Shearim, and gave them something to eat. So after 2 hours, having a very enjoyable time with this man, then Rabbi Niven and his father, then they went on their way. And Rabbi Niven, looking back, he told us, he confessed that right afterwards he thought, this man must be a person who's a very, very bored person. He must be a person who just has nothing to do. If he could just waste 2 hours just hanging out with us, he just must have, really an extremely boring life. But then Rabbi Niven caught himself, and he realized it's really, really not true, that this is just a person who's just focused on the present. He's a person, let's say like Avram Avinu, like Abraham in the Torah, who just really, he saw guests, and he saw the potential to do a mitzvah. He saw people in front of him, and he decides, okay, I am going to dedicate myself now fully to the situation that God has presented me with, to bringing these people into my home and talking with them and entertaining them. And this story is sort of an extreme example, someone who can give 2 hours to people. I'm still working on the 1 minute, and it's really not easy. It's very, very difficult for me. But I want to suggest to all of you to try this exercise. And just occasionally, over the course of your day, try being in the present. And maybe when you're with your kids or on your own, trying to just really, really focus on what is now. Not thinking of the future, not thinking of the past, just really, really focusing on what is now. So we're listening to, I'm actually talking about this topic this morning, because this morning I turned on the radio and I heard the radio debut of a brand new song by Aaron Razel, who's a really well-known singer in Israel, and I think also outside of Israel. And this song was exactly on this topic. A topic about really living in the present and really enjoying life and making the most out of life just by enjoying what is now. Okay, so I love the song, and I knew that I wanted to make my pep talk about it. And about this topic, about living in the present. And then this morning, it's a nice thing about living in Achlot, that actually I saw Aaron Razel, who's my neighbor, we were both bringing our kids to nursery school, and so I asked him if I could put the song on my blog, and he said he would be so honored if we would, put the song on the blog in this pep talk, so that for all of you Jewish moms. So I think that this is probably the worldwide international internet debut of this song. Okay, so enjoy.
היום, מה רצית היום? את מי חיבקת בחום שלא נתן לך ללכת? מה חיפשת היום? מה מצאת היום? מה הצליח לגרום לך לעצור ושוב ללכת? האם שמעת את השיר ששרה הציפור לך? האם שמרת בכיסך את העלה של נחל ראשך? האם כבר שרת שיר היום? האם מצאת שביל היום? האם הקשבת לחלום? האם ברחת לשלום? אדם בודד הולך מולך, לעולם לא תדע מה עובר לו בנשמה. מה דיברת היום? למי הקשבת היום? האם פינית מקום בזמן לשפוך לבך כמים בן אדם? לאן מיהרת היום? בספסל עצרת לנשום? כן, כל אדם צריך מדי פעם לעצור ולהביט לשמיים. האם שמעת את השיר ששרה הציפור לך? האם שמרת בכיסך את העלה של נחל ראשך? האם כבר שרת שיר היום? האם מצאת שביל היום? האם הקשבת לחלום? האם ברחת לשלום? אדם בודד הולך מולך, לעולם לא תדע מה עובר לו בנשמה. את מה אספת היום? את מה השלחת במקום? שנים ניסית לבלום, לגזום, לפרום, אך לא באמת העזת לומר שלום. ענה לי לפני שיהיה מאוחר מדי, מלא ליבי כי לא אומר לך די, לא אומר לך די. ענה לי לפני שיהיה מאוחר מדי, מלא ליבי כי לא אומר לך די, לא אומר לך די. השביל שגילית פתאום ואספת מאבני המקום, ביקשו העיניים את עצמם לעצום, להביט פנימה בסולם שהופיע בחלום.